Hi everyone, I'm Lindsey Galloway. I'm with Genius Sports, and we're here today at Sport Beach with Josh Linforth, who is the CRO at Genius Sports. So we've got lots of excitement in the air here at Sport Beach. What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of sports technology?
Oh my goodness, that's a tricky question. There's so much stuff to talk about. Well, I mean, at the start, I think, the evolution of data and how we're basically entering the next generation of data collection, of thinking about, sort of historically, data entry in sports is a statistician sitting in venue at a stadium, collecting data of what's happening on the field. And we're now moving into that next generation of utilizing AI, new technologies in order to automate that entire data collection process. And why that's so exciting is it unlocks an entirely new generation of deeper data sets that ultimately can be used across the entire sports ecosystem to better commentary, to digital advertising, to enhance sports betting offerings. It really flows through to, new fan experiences that can be done as well. It's something we think a lot about, and there's really never been a more exciting time to be in this sort of intersection of technology and sport.
I would totally agree. And what we've seen here at Cannes in general is that there's so much excitement around sports and brands wanting to get more involved in sports. So as brands that may have not traditionally been sponsors of sports, how can they best get involved in sports? What was some advice that you would give them to really activate around sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a brand and you need to activate around sports and you really want to get in on it, there's so many different entry points into the world of sports. Of course, there's the sort of traditional sort of sponsorship aspect, there's editorial content, there's working with content creators, and then there's also sort of the paid media world and sort of leveraging platforms to access sports audiences. That's something that we at Genius are very focused on, is sort of the democratization of sports advertising in the digital industry, and using new technologies and deep relationships with our partners to give brands access to some of the most engaged consumers in the world, right? Like, there is no more engaged consumer than a sports fan. And we really want to enable brands to be able to do that at a national level as well as a local level. It doesn't matter if you're a multinational brand wanting to reach fans or if you own 6 burger shops in Nebraska, right? And you want to support the local high school team. Technology is an enabler to enable any brand to be able to have those conversations, those unique conversations with fans.
Great, and I've seen some really cool shots of the augmented technology that Genius has, and with augmented sponsorships in particular, I've heard some of the great news coming out of initial brands that are working with this augmented technology. Can you talk a little bit about that augmentation and how we're working with brands and future looking on the brand augmentation side?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's some really exciting technology. Ultimately, we had taught machines to understand the context of sport. And that started with understanding what's going on in the game and being able to surface interesting statistical content that we thought fans would love to enjoy. And we've seen that across our partners on Amazon and CBS and BT Sport and a number of others around the world. But now what we're seeing is the next evolution of that is when you surface that content, creating interesting opportunities for brands to engage with fans. So a great example was this Premier League season just gone. We worked with Brentford in order to show their stadium sponsor AdTech around the goal every time a goal was scored in terms of shot speed, and that was used on the big screen in the stadium, but also across social channels. It generated a huge amount of momentum, and we see that as one of the new emerging formats for digital is this sort of augmented format across sport.
Amazing. And what are some of the other differentiators that Genius has when it comes to reaching the sports fan?
Yeah, I mean, last year we launched our unique identity solution called FanHub ID, which is the first sports-centric identity solution for digital media. And that really helps us bridge the gap between rights holders, IP holders, and brands wanting to reach sports fans in a privacy-compliant way. And we bridge the gap between device, identity, and ultimately fandom as well. And just because, when a fan has multiple levels of fandom, right? And I think sometimes people treat it a bit black and white, like I'm a Man United fan or I'm an Eagles fan, right? But actually what we've seen is that fans have interest throughout the entire calendar year. There might be an exciting moment from the NBA, and therefore a fan has got a specific player that they want to follow, or they're interested in for the next period of time. Or there's diehard Premier League fan who's of course going to follow their team, be it Chelsea, forever and ever, right? And there's just all these different moments in which fans drop in and out of fandom across different sports and different levels of team engagement and player engagement, and ultimately our identity solution helps bridge that gap to be able to have meaningful conversations and connections with fans.
Perfect. So Josh, what makes you most excited about working at Genius Sports?
Look, I've been at the business for a long time, for 12 years, and I've never been more excited to be at the company. We're at this unique inflection point of sort of TV moving to digital, huge interest in sports and the digital advertising sphere. You've got next generation of sort of gaming and betting products coming out. Example of that is sort of our BetVision product that the big US sportsbooks take. And really, this is the inflection point of all these different industries coming together. And we're uniquely placed to be able to basically connect the dots of all of that, of providing next generation broadcast technologies for sport as that moves across to digital, to be able to provide unique fan experiences in that content. We're bringing together a lot of our league and club relationships and bringing that into our media activation platform for sport. And then you've got, a whole host of things.
Perfect. And what has been the highlight for you of the Cannes Festival here? Any memorable moments that you've had?
Look, it's my first time at Cannes, and I'd be the first to admit it that I was perhaps a little bit skeptical of the business value of Cannes, but actually I am the converted. It's been an incredible event. Us as Genius, we have met so many fantastic both partners and potential clients, and really it is one of the places that the digital media and wider advertising industry can come together, and you can have so many meetings over such a short space of time and really walk away feeling like the business is being driven forwards. And I think that applies to all types of businesses, right? It doesn't matter if you're a brand trying to enhance your advertising capabilities and strategy, or if you're a technology company trying to grow, or if you're just any business that's trying to build your presence. I feel like many people can walk away from the show feeling like their business has been driven forwards by the connections made at Cannes.
So Josh, Genius has a dynamic creative optimization suite that's very unique to sports. Can you talk a little bit about that product and what's unique to market about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have built a DCO product that is entirely focused on sport. One of the things we noticed with our clients many years ago is when they said they wanted to run sports-based creative, they'd have to go and find a DCO partner, they'd have to go and find a vendor for a data feed, and then they'd run that creative in a DSP, and sometimes the data that was in the creative didn't match the contextual placement of the creative, right? And it didn't really allow a streamlined operation in order to run loads of sports-based creative and campaigns. So what we have done is we've built a DCO offering that has all of the data feeds that Genius owns, so Genius has the rights to, already housed, already mapped with a drag and drop tool, enabling our partners to go in and create dynamic sports data creative in a couple of minutes, and then run that through into our technologies in order to ensure that not only is the creative updating contextually with what's going on in the game, but also the placements in which it is being displayed is relevant to that page as well. So we really close the loop on engaging fans and making sure that the conversation is always relevant to what they're experiencing.
Perfect. I've seen some examples of like the countdown clock or team jerseys. Can you just explain a little about those particular creative features that are unique to sport?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of countdown clocks, that's a really popular format that we see clients who are trying to drive engagement around the start of an event. So like tune-in campaigns, ticketing campaigns, these sorts of activations, that's an incredibly valuable asset that we see our partners utilize. And then from sort of team jerseys, marks and logos, again, if our partner's got the IP, we allow them to scale that in an incredibly fast, efficient way across multiple markets at once. If we have a partner that wants to run across, all high school sports, right? How many high schools are there in the country, in the US? We enable them to set up a creative campaign in 5 minutes to run relevant ads against every high school in the country.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was great to talk to you.